This podcast is brought to you by RYYZN, Make Life Work Out, a health and self-development platform dedicated to helping busy, everyday Kiwis manage their physical health and upskill their mental well-being.
Through sharing relatable and practical content from health practitioners, as well as showcasing interesting stories from interesting people.
For more shows, content, events, and coaching, head to our website, www.ryz-workout.com. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the High Frequency Club podcast. My name is Marwan Salerio.
And I'm Sinead Bidman. We're here talking all things self-development, growth and mindset.
In this week's episode, we chat to professional boxer Magic Mikey Helg. He shares his story on experiencing identity crisis when he realized that he wasn't good enough for rugby league, and how he found boxing and how he needed to leave unhelpful friend circles and unhelpful habits in order for him to really chase the legacy that he wants for his family name.
Mikey also shares how boxing has helped develop his character, his personality and build his confidence, as well as how he deals with loss in the ring and maintains his humility.
Off air, Mikey says that he shared stories with us that he's never actually talked about before, so get ready to really know the man behind the boxing.
And be sure to let us know your thoughts once you've had a listen, and follow along at the High Frequency Club on all your favourite audio platforms, as well as Instagram and YouTube.
Enjoy the show. Professional boxer, personal trainer. Bro, what do we need to know about your past to help us understand the person we're listening to today?
Well, yeah, you guys obviously know me. That's Mikey Helg. Born and raised in Auckland, West Auckland, Avondale. I'm the oldest of six siblings. So I come from a pretty big family. And I grew up well. I grew up in a loving family, in like a close-knit community as well. The area I grew up in, everyone, all the neighbours knew each other. What else? And also soon to be father.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, bro, so everyone's got this background story of what got them into the combat sports, right? Some people get bullied, some people get shamed out, whatever it might be, or some people were in trouble. And that was the thing that got them in the, on the straight and narrow. What is your story? What is the background on what got Mikey into combat?
See, the quick story that I tell most people, because I can't be bothered going into depth about it, but the quick story I tell people is I saw my mate fight and I just wanted to be like him, and I started training. But if we go...
What's the long story?
Yeah, the long story, we go back into it, I was about 19 and rugby had just finished, and rugby was my life throughout high school and everything like that. It had just finished for me. I wasn't really going anywhere with it, so I decided to, okay, that's done. I had to deal with letting that go as well, and moving on. So I had a little bit of an identity crisis with that, because I was attached to being the rugby guy. So I had to deal with that. I was also going through a breakup at that time, a rough breakup. And so I had a lot of internal struggles that I was dealing with, and I didn't really have anyone I could talk to or had anyone to turn to. So because of all of that, I kind of just resorted to, it might sound a little bit cliche, but I was resorting to drugs, alcohol, women, and just that whole scene of the party life as my outlet, escape, whatever you want to call it. And I was kind of I felt like I was going in a downward spiral with no direction or drive in life until that kind of intertwines with another stupid thing that happened in that time, where I was getting into street fights because I was drunk, high and all that kind of stuff. All these street fights that I had when I was younger were happening, and there was one moment where one pivotal moment where I just, that's it, I want to change. Where I was at a house party, and I got jumped. Yeah, outside the house party, I was way too wasted and high to even like defend myself. And at the end of that, I was quite embarrassed because there was lots of people that saw that, and so I was embarrassed, I was shamed out, and I was just like, man, I never want that to happen ever again. And just by chance, maybe like a week after that, I went to a kickboxing match where I saw one of my friends fight. And after all of that had happened, I watched my mate fight, and I was like, nah, this is it. I want to do this. Like the amount of respect he got from the crowd, from strangers, and just he like, to me at that time, he looked like Superman. You know, he was like on top of the world. He won his fight. I was like, I want to do that. And so I started training with him, and then I trained kickboxing for a while, and then our gym shut down. Our gym shut down after like 9 months, so it hadn't even been a year yet. And I was like, oh man, where do we go now? Because he ended up having like a break and doing his own thing. I didn't know where to go, and so I kind of went back on that path again of like drinking, partying, drugs, and I was like, man, I don't really want to do this anymore, man. Like, I'm done. And then I finally met who I consider as my mentor, even today. My first ever mentor, my first ever like role model, so the first person I kind of like really looked up to and wanted to be like. Shout out to Rod McSwain.
What's up, Rod McSwain?
Yeah, that's my guy. So when I met him, that's kind of like when my life kind of took a full turn, and he was just someone that was well respected, and I really wanted to be like that, embody that. I was like, okay, let's hang out with this guy. And I did. When I started hanging out with him, I started leaving all my old ways, all my old friends behind, as I started to make that change. But that's kind of the start of how I got into fighting.
How did you end up in boxing if you started in kickboxing?
Yeah, started with kickboxing. It was a bit of a journey. Like I started with kickboxing, and then progressed to MMA. But it was hard for me to find fights because I was with Rod. We weren't really a fight gym, as per se. We were just a gym that did fight classes or fight classes or fitness classes. And I had to just keep nagging Rod to kind of get me fights. And it wasn't until he took me to CKB, and so I started training under them. But there was 50 plus fighters, and there was only like 1 or 2 coaches there, and I wanted more one-on-one time. So like it was difficult for me to get fights, to stay active. That was my experience of my journey through fighting as well. And so because of all of that, there was an opportunity that came up, and it was a boxing fight. And I was just saying yes to any fight because I was just keen. So I said yes to this boxing fight, and I was like, oh shit, I don't really have a boxing coach. Rod's not a boxer, he's an MMA fighter. Everyone I know are kickboxers. I was like, man, if I'm going to do this boxing fight, I want to do it right. So the only boxer that I knew at that time was Chad Milne. Chad Chop Milne. Yeah, so shout out to Chad. So I messaged him, I hit him up, I was like, hey bro, I've got this fight. Would you be able to coach me in this boxing fight? And he was like, oh yeah, cool. Come into the gym, I'll train you for a bit, all good. And then I started training with Chad, and I was like, I really enjoyed his style of breaking things down. His style of training was like completely different to what I was used to. And so I felt like I was learning lots, and I was like, man, I might just give this boxing thing a good go. And we obviously had our fight. I fought under him and the box office, and from then on in I was like, let's try see how far we can get in boxing under Coach Chad.
It sounds like to me the reason why a big part of it anyway is why you were switching codes was that because you were looking for fights and there just wasn't enough fights in kickboxing and the MMA scene, so that's how you ended up in boxing. There's a very small percentage of people that is willing to fight and actually looks for a fight in the world. What is it for you? What is it about fighting that you just crave? Because any other person would not look for that, and if any other person would not want to do what you do.
I guess for me, man, I feel at peace. I feel at home when I'm inside the ring. I feel happy when I'm in the ring, but also the journey of getting to that point is what I like as well. Having to overcome all like the hard, intense trainings. And during the trainings, I really like going to like the dark place of training. It's therapeutic in a way for me, I guess. And I just feel like I'm a better human when I'm just training and I've got like goals. I'm striving for something.
Yeah, I think that's such a common thing. I'm sure with women too, but I can only speak from being a man. Is that's what we need? We need like a purpose. Otherwise, it's so easy. If we don't have boundaries, if we don't have the chaos in us, we can just go down, dark paths or drugs, alcohol, whatever, we can get lost.
I think in general you've got to have something that you're working towards, something, whether that's in sport or work, something that you're sort of working or striving for. Otherwise you do just sort of are going in the motions with whatever you're doing. So definitely having that goal, which obviously for you, having those fights means you are staying focused and committed with your training and discipline, because you're like, next fight's up.
And everything is in my life, like when I have a fight, everything in my life kind of like falls into place. Like everything for me starts working, and I feel like I'm on a straight and narrow. I feel like everything's just good. And for anyone listening, you don't necessarily need to go jump into the ring to get that, right? No, you just need to have a process for you, a pillar point where you can put your mental, emotional, and physical energy towards. Right? It's a process, and that's different for everybody. That makes you want to learn, that humbles you, that also makes you feel like you're getting better. All those things, super, super important. Bro, I just want to go back to the story of what you said about the identity crisis. You were the rugby dude, and then you gave it up for fighting. There's so much talk, especially on social media, that you just got to keep going. You just got to keep grinding. But what people don't talk about is that, like, you've got to know when to give it up. You got to know when that isn't for you. You know, describe to me the process of you actually making that decision that you're like, you know what, I'm just not good enough. I want to move on. Oh, it was definitely hard. Like, I don't want to admit it to myself. Like, I remember telling myself, like, just keep going. You might crack it one day. And, I'm sitting back, I'm like, nah, you got to really think about what's going on, and like how often you're even training. Man, I was only training like twice a week and thinking that was heaps, like, and then I compare it to my friend who's now in the NRL. He was training every single day. And so I was weighing that up as well. I was like, nah, actually I'm not even working hard enough to even get to that point. I'm like, nah, that's all I need to call it. But
did you sorry to interrupt, did you even enjoy it enough to train every single day, or were you happy with just training twice a week?
Nah, I was happy just training twice a week. So I was in a different mindset as well, and I guess I kind of knew that too, but having to really accept that fact, it was hard. It was hard for me, because I really wanted to prove people wrong, because I remember telling people I want to do this, I want to do that, and they were doubting me at the start, and I was like, I want to prove these guys wrong, but I guess I was doing it for not the right reasons. I was only doing it to prove people wrong, not really for myself. It's that's the thing, like, people have got to remember, including myself, that whenever you start something, it's always because you ended something beforehand. Like, a new chapter only begins because you finished the one before. And you got to know when to say it's done and move on. Like, moving on is a skill. Letting go is a skill. And sometimes when we become so attached to
a certain role, whether it's a rugby player or being a personal trainer, and when that chapter is done, fuck, we suffer. We suffer more than what is necessary because we haven't tuned into that skill of this opportunity is done and it's time for a new one, time to attack that one. You know?
And it sounds like another way you had that realization of like, okay, maybe, you know, I'm not going to go anywhere with this, is realizing, like you said, that you're probably more externally driven than internally driven with it. And that's when you sort of realize, okay, actually, I'm not giving this thing 110% because I don't want this for me. And that's another thing for people to...
No, definitely.
100%.
Yeah, and another thing from what I heard from you was like, if success was, let's say, the NRL, but you only wanted to train 2 times per week, then you know you got to manage those expectations, like, and be real, you know, because depending on what your metrics of success is, it always comes down to time plus intensity. How much time you're willing to put in and how intense you want to work inside that time. And for me, I'm not trying to be a pro boxer, otherwise I'd be in the gym like you every single day. But I'm all good with just being twice, you know? I'm all good with it being a hobby. You know, and so I've managed my expectations around my boxing. You know? Shout out again to Rob McSwain, bro. The power of role models. What about Rob drew you to him? What character traits did he have in order for Mikey to be like, I want to be that guy, I want those character traits?
He was just, he was super charismatic, just in his way, and just I really liked the fact that when he spoke, everyone listened, kind of thing. Like he wasn't arrogant or anything like that. He wasn't, and he didn't just like tell you to do things and just stand on the side. Like he was the kind of person that would lead by example. Like when we had a hard session and he'd write it up on the board and I'm like looking at it like, what the hell is that, man? That's crazy. You know, I was like, bro, we're gonna die. You know? But he'll just be like, and then he'll do it alongside with me, like next to me. And so that kind of showed me, I was just like, oh man, that's okay. If he's doing it, then okay, I can do it as well. And I that's what really attracted me to him, his personality and his aura. And that's what I really liked about him. Was that he led by example. And I think he earned a lot of people's respect because of that.
They say that's the difference between a boss and a leader, right? A boss tells you what to do, and a leader does it with you. They never do it. They never make you do anything they wouldn't do. You know? You're right. And there's that unspoken power in that. You know? How do you deal? I'm not too sure what your record is. How do you deal with loss? You know, losing a fight. Recently, I've just lost my fight, and I remember being hit hard by it because in the process to it, I was like, fuck, I didn't miss any training sessions. I went to the dark places. I did everything that was expected of me. I hired a PT. I did everything possible. And I knew that on my walk into the ring, I was like, you've done everything. This is it. You're going to win. The universe is going to give you that win. And it didn't give me the win. And I was shocked. I was like, fuck. Doesn't matter how good I think I was, how well prepared I was not entitled to the outcome. You know, and that shocked me. I knew the theory because it's happened in other areas of my life, losing, but not so much in such a high, intense arena like a boxing fight, you know? What about you? What's your relationship with loss? How do you deal with it?
Well, I feel like everyone loses. In the fight scene as well, everyone loses at some point. And my process of loss, man, I hate losing it. I hate it. My last loss, I was upset for ages. I was like, but for me, ages is like maybe like 3 days. 3 days is, and then after that, just being surrounded by other pro fighters as well, and then just getting advice from them, and it kind of like puts things into perspective that we're the only ones that really care about that win or loss. Our friends and family don't really care about whether we win or lose. You know, we care about, we hold on to that a lot more than anyone else. And I remember going to see my mum, and I went and saw my mum, and I was like, oh man, I'm still like upset about the weekend I lost on the weekend. And she'll be just talking, and she'll be talking about what she did on the weekend, and talking about like the baking that she's been doing, And I'm just like, Mom, did you hear me? Like, I just spoke about my loss. Like, I needed comfort. And she was like, oh, yeah. I was like, so that kind of put things into perspective, like, people don't really care about whether you win or lose. She was just really happy that I got on there. Yeah. And I think that's with most cases as well. People are just happy that you're there and happy to support you with your journey and with fighting as well.
Yeah, off the back of that, as soon as I lost and came off and went and saw my friends, the first thing I said to them was, I'm sorry. Because I had this expectation that, like, I thought what they expected of me was to win.
Yeah.
They paid all this money, it's fucking late as at night, and I couldn't deliver what I thought they wanted from me. But at the end of it, they were like, what are you saying sorry for? That was me.
Yeah.
You know, we're just glad to be here to support you, that you're safe, that you got out of it alive and not injured. And they all had a good night, you know, and no one thinks any worse of me. If anything, you know, they're happy. They are happy. They're obviously happy.
Do you find you're hard on yourself or overly critical after a loss?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I feel like, sometimes it can be bad though. Like, my first ever loss, I was super critical of myself. I was like, because I was on a winning streak before that loss, and maybe a little bit of hit to the ego, you know. And then when I took that loss, I was super critical and like, oh man, about every little detail. But then, you know, I talked to some friends as well, and then they'll kind of like just tell me like it's all good. It's like, man, just relax a bit. Like it's all good. Like, we're just happy to support you. Just like what you're saying.
Just off the back of you mentioning ego, there's this common public misconception that fighters are aggressive, and there are some with their ego not in check. How do you keep your ego in check, knowing that you are more skilled than the everyday person when it comes to combat?
Yeah, man. I mean, ego's a hard one. I feel like you definitely need ego in a sport like fighting, or like in the most athletic sports, professional level as well. Like, because ego makes you want to win, makes you want to be great. But yeah, there's a fine line that you got to understand. I definitely try not to kind of be egotistical or anything like that. But I also surround myself with people that kind of keep my ego in check. Especially during trainings and sparring. Like, man, you can go up against anyone, any level, and they might just be having a great day, and you might just be having a bad day, and then boom, ego's checked right there. You know, they might just get the upper hand. Because that's happened before. I sparred, the first time I went to the box office, I sparred a 16-year-old. And they put me with them. I'm like, why are they putting this kid with me? Like, man, that's what I thought. Like, I didn't say that out loud, but that's what I thought in my head. And I was like, what the hell? Anyways, this kid beat my ass. I was just like, what the hell? And so that really kind of like brings me back down to earth, and it humbles me. Just moments like that, trainings like that. I feel like if you do a bit too much with the ego thing, then you will get checked. At trainings, at sparring.
Yeah. I remember my first couple sparring sessions, they were horrible. And then at some point, I think maybe it was like my fifth one, I was like, I had a good one, and I think I finally, in my head anyway, I won a round out of like the fucking, there's like probably 8 to 12 rounds each sparring session. And by the time I got to my fifth one, I think I won one round. I was like, yes, things are going to get so much better from here. I feel so good. Next one, I got fucking smoked. And I was like, fuck. And I hear Amit say, there's good days and bad days. And I was like, so true. So true. And there's so much that is a lead up outside of the sparring session that all contributes to that too. And you just never know how the other person you're about to spar is showing up either. You know? So
there's like a saying in fighting, it's sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. And I think that's so true, because there's some days where I'm just on, and then there's no one that can come near me. But then there's some days where I'm just super off, and every person I go with, I just get smashed. I'm just like, man. And then you go home and you kind of like think, it's like, is this really what I want to do?
Yeah, that is certainly a question I asked myself on the second time when I left the fucking gym with the blood nose. I was like, why are you doing this?
Why am I here?
Why are you doing this?
What do you find helps keep you consistently on? Or are there any sort of non-negotiables for you or part of your routine to try and keep you having more on days?
Good night's rest, actually. Like rest, waking up early, being there early usually helps with that. Just being prepared, for whatever you're doing, training or sparring, whatever it may be. But that usually helps. When I feel like I've rushed my day and then I've gone to training, then everything's out of whack and it's like, oh my God, and I just feel off. That's usually it.
Do you have a morning routine?
Wake up, coffee, sometimes coffee, and then go to work.
Simple. But sometimes the most effective rituals are the most simple ones.
I tried to read at one point in the morning.
Yeah.
I tried to wake up and read, but then I fell asleep on the couch. I was on the couch and I was like, oh man, it's not working, man. It's too early.
That's right. You're reading How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yes.
Which I think is such a GOAT book. For life. But even more so in personal training, because I think personal training is a people's game. What have you learned from that book so far, bro?
That people love talking about themselves. That's what I've learned, because I've tried that out in real life. Just trying like some of the concepts from the book, and yeah, like to get to know someone, it's best to talk about their interests, and then they start talking about things that they're into, and then they start talking about themselves. And then you get to know them a little bit more. You don't even really have to say anything, which is what I like, because I'm usually quite reserved anyway. Just, you can do all the talking. It's
crazy to feel that energy when someone is feeling seen and heard. And if you give them the space to be able to be vulnerable and feel psychologically safe, as a PT, they'll unload so many things because they don't have the space to do that, And I think that is such a great power of personal training, is that you can provide that for people, and not only just make them physically better, make them mentally better, just through simply making them feel safe, seen, heard and appreciated.
Definitely.
Do you find it difficult to, because there's so many traits in personal training, for example, like empathy, giving people that space. Do you find that, do you switch off that once you get home, or do you feel like you always wear that hat?
I've never actually thought about that. I think I do switch it off. Yeah, I switch it off and I just kind of like go into my own little bubble when I'm at home. I'm just like, bleh.
So is your partner always like, you're never listening to me?
Because actually, no, she does say that.
There we go.
I asked that, because obviously Sinead is my partner, and I get the same. And I always think about it, and it's like, I wasn't aware that I subconsciously, once I was done at work, I would take off the listening, empathetic hat that I give to my clients, and then I'd be in my own little bubble, and now I'm just in my own little bubble. I'm no longer wearing those attributes that are required for me when I'm PTing. But that doesn't mean that our partners do not want that side of us. Right?
We also want to be seen and heard and appreciated and valued.
You know what I mean? It's something that carries on in my head, and I'm like, whenever it's trippy because Sinead's right in front, I'm like, whenever Sinead's talking, I'm like, fuck, I've got to wear that hat again. Well, I've got to put this on right now because she needs me. Where that's sometimes the last thing I want to do, because I've just done 10 fucking hours giving it my all to people. But that is not an excuse. So just like strength training, for me, I've got to build that capacity to be more empathetic, more giving, not just in my professional life, but also in my personal life. Right? I'm trying to spitball with you. I'm trying to get some advice from you. What do you think?
Like, because in personal training, it's like it's energy taxing. You give a lot of your energy to your clients or in classes. And then when you get home, for me, especially far out, man, I'm zapped, man. I'm just like
zap text.
I'm out. Like, don't talk to me. I'm just like, I'm done. Like, just give me some space. Sometimes I only need about maybe about 15 minutes of just my own time, or just nothing. And then after that, then I can talk and chat and yeah. That's usually the case. That's usually what works for me.
Yeah. Do you have any like rest days, no work, not giving to anyone? Yeah.
Sunday. Oh, actually, Sunday and Wednesday. Usually Wednesday. So usually 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually for me, I try and make Saturdays like a non-negotiable. Don't hang out with anyone. Yeah. Where I just like chill.
You need those days where you're just like on your own. Yeah, I need them as well. Yeah, it just makes me a little bit better.
Yeah, hard. Like for me, it's that duality of I can only love being with people because I know how to love being by myself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Do you find that? Because you're in the people's game too.
Yeah, well, like you said, it's just so much energy that you're giving when you're with people all day long, and especially if that's your job, that you're around people, or you're having to, like you said, with teaching classes, you're almost performing. That is a lot of energy. In order to recharge and do that again, you need that downtime, that quiet time, doing nothing with nobody by yourself, in order to then the next day be able to do that again.
Yeah.
Otherwise then you're faking it, and then that's when it gets harder if you're having to always fake that high energy versus just like you said, feeling well rested, a good night's sleep, and being able to give that high energy the next day without having to turn it on too much.
Yeah.
Have you found that with teaching classes, when you said like you're naturally a bit of a reserved person, and having to sort of entertain and perform and motivate a crowd, a group of people?
Yeah, I mean, like I have to definitely hype myself up before like a class, but it's kind of like an outlet. It kind of makes you feel like I've gone out clubbing and stuff like that. So in a way, I get to be this character on stage, and I can be loud, I can yell at people. But sometimes too much of that, for me, I feel like at the end of the week I get burnt out, and then people at home pay for that, because I'm just not giving my energy to them. Just
of course. Yeah. How much sleep do you need a night?
I'm good on like 5-6 hours.
Oh, Mikey, no way. 5-6 hours.
He's ready for parenthood. He's ready for parenthood.
You're an animal, really.
5-6 hours, I'm pretty sweet.
Wow, and you train so much.
Yeah.
And where's your energy at during the day, out of 10? 10 being like, I'm fucking buzzing.
About 8 usually.
Wow, you must be an anomaly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually need that much sleep. Although I do love sleep when I get the chance. Like if I have a day off, then I'm sleeping for as long as I want.
Well, how long is that?
Maybe like 7 hours, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you've always slept that way?
Nah, no way, man. I used to sleep in all the time. I was always late for school and stuff like that. And I was like, I think once I became a PT, and then I started getting used to like the early hours, and because I'll be training at night time, like 7:30, 8 p.m. That was kind of like my training schedule. Yeah. And so I'll be home at about, let's say 9 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. Have to make dinner, shower, all that kind of stuff. Prep my day for the next day, in bed by like midnight, and then so it's just become a habit of just waking up at only getting like 5 hours sleep. Yeah. So it's just a habit thing. Yeah. But I still love sleep.
Well, hey, you're well trained for when baby comes out, eh? Yeah. Because that'll be, I'm sure, an average maybe. I don't know. I don't have any kids. What lessons have you learnt from fighting that you have taken into everyday life?
Staying humble. Just going back to what we were talking about keeping your ego in check. There's a saying in like fighting, especially in the MMA scene, wipe out mentality, which means like being a beginner in your mindset. Because when you first start out, when you're a beginner, all you want to do is just like, you want to be quiet, you want to learn from everyone, and you're just open to different ideas, different concepts, and it's just keeping that same mindset as you progress, get better and better, and not thinking you're better than anyone else, and understanding no matter where you are and no matter what level you're in, or no matter what level you're at, you can learn from anyone. Like for me, I've learned from you as well. when I first sparred you, I was getting smacked in the face. I was like, man, so I learned how to kind of like adjust to your style and the way that you move. So you can learn from anybody, from different levels, and you can take that into life as well. Yeah. Learning from people's mistakes or achievements, and just, yeah.
Oh, that makes me feel so good. Thanks, bro. Well, off the back of that, I had never actually taken a knee ever until Mikey hit me in the liver, and I'm like, whoa. You know, when people say you get hit in the liver, they say your body just shuts down. I had never experienced that, and I was like, holy shit! Like, I didn't tell me to go down. Like, your body actually just goes, you're going down. It was like an involuntary. So thanks, bro. That means a lot.
Oh man, I was happy because you're beating me up that day. And I was just like, that was the one shot I landed too.
Yeah, shut this boy up.
I was like, oh my god.
Shut him up for good.
Off the back of humility, we have this culture within Australia as well, New Zealand, this tall poppy syndrome. But like you said, bro, like as a professional athlete, like you've got to have a level of confidence that, you know, in ways, some days you're unbeatable. Yeah. And sometimes that type of attitude doesn't feel well with other people, you know, maybe with old friends. How do you, I guess, manage that for yourself? I know we've talked about being humble and you've got great systems to upkeep that, but how about, you know, gassing yourself up?
Man, for me personally, I tell myself that I'm the man all the time. I'll never like say it out loud, like, but it's my way to kind of like give myself confidence. Yeah, it's like, man, I've trained hard. I've done all of this training. Like, yeah, I'm good. I know I'm good, and it's just like that reassurance. It helps me mentally, and like there will be people that will try to speak fear into your heart and say like, oh, are you sure? And then they'll start kind of like doubting your actions. But yeah, for me, I always back myself, especially now. I back myself. Yeah, because whenever I do back myself, I do really well, no matter who I'm sparring against. Like, because I've sparred against like UFC guys and really top athletes, top fighters, and I remember the days that I did back myself against them were like my best sparring days against them. And I was like, okay, well, I just keep doing that. Just keep telling myself that I am good enough. I can hold my own against these guys, and it's just the reassurance.
Hard. I think that's the difference between confidence and arrogance. When you're confident, you just back up the evidence that you've built, you know, with the intention of giving it back to yourself rather than trying to put it on other people. Or trying to put others down with it. And I think another factor of arrogance is like trying to talk up what isn't real. You know what I mean? Like, I could walk around saying I'm the fucking man, but like you're not. You're not. You're the beginner in the fucking group. You know. You know, and that's just completely untrue. You know. So backing up the evidence, and I see that a lot on your social media now. Like you're putting up heaps of client reviews, and I think this is. I was talking to Shanae about this just in the personal training realm, that like we have this huge tall poppy syndrome that personal trainers aren't willing or are too afraid to show off their work, and even more so when clients have said it. Imagine a client writing you a review and you're like, oh, I don't want to show off. You're like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? Like, they have written you a review. This is the evidence towards your work, and you're too ashamed to share that with people, to give you business and opportunity. That to me is mind blowing. And I think there's just not enough of that. There's so many great personal trainers out there that struggle to show the evidence off, you know? So like I said, I've seen you started to post more and more of that. What has your journey been of, you know, putting out your work out there? Because your social media game is up in the last few months, right?
Since following you and other personal trainers and that, I see what you guys do and I'm just like, man, okay, let's start doing this, because I do like working on content and stuff like that. And I do like celebrating my clients, because they feel great about it. Like they will never say it, but I know that they feel great. Especially when I post some videos of them and they're boxing and progression videos. And they're like, oh wow, I actually do look cool. I'm like, yeah, you do. But no, just basically following you guys, and that's kind of given me inspiration.
Yeah, I've actually seen in a survey that what drives people more than money in a workforce is public recognition. So if you can publicly recognize and acknowledge people, for example, posting up their boxing progress on your social media, of course with their permission, is that like they love it.
Yeah.
They absolutely love it. They're like, oh yeah, Mikey's proud of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that means a fucking lot.
Yeah.
And I think in general, people I follow, like friends or family or whatever, like I always just love to see what my friends are passionate about, whether it's because they're building their new house or they're having kids or their new job or their sport. Like, if you're supporting your friends, you just want to see what they're up to and what they're doing, what they're passionate about. Like, I hate when I see friends sharing stuff and they're like, oh, sorry to be spamming you all with like my posts from my game on the weekend or from this. And I'm like, you're not spamming anyone. Like, if people support you, we want to see like you playing your game on the weekend, or you at your training, or you going hard in your personal training game. Like, we want to see that. So
that's the other thing. If people unfollow you because of the content that you're posting, then they were never going to buy off you anyway.
They're not your people.
Who gives a fuck? You know, the content is for the people that have already bought into you, and for people who are a fan of Magic Mikey Helg. And the more content you produce, the closer they get to the conversion line, or the heartier they applaud you and support you. So I always say, never fucking worry about the people that unfollow you. If anything, it's good, because now there's more percentage of your content going towards the people that actually really want to see it. So they keep helping you. If anything, you know. Bro, going back to your past of your story of, you know, leaving the drugs, alcohol, and going to more towards the narrow path of becoming a fighter. Did you have to leave certain friends and environments in order for you to really solidify that change? And if you did, describe what that journey was like.
I definitely did. But I think it kind of happened like just gradually. It didn't just happen straight away. I think we just gradually grew apart because I had chosen this path, and I wasn't partying with them as often. And so we just gradually drifted. And whenever we'd catch up, there was always some sort of tension that you could feel, that, but we wouldn't talk about it, but you could feel it. It was like I'm just speaking, maybe they thought that I was like betraying them and the loyalty of like the boys and all that, because I'm doing something different now. And so we gradually drifted, and it kind of like just felt like a breakup. Because essentially it is. You're just breaking up with like a friend group. And so dealing with that, because they were my best friends during that time, it was pretty hard, because then I felt like I didn't have any like close mates, best friends. I didn't really have any siblings my age, because there's a 10-year gap between me and the next one. So at that time I felt alone at that time, and I feel like fighting is what kind of saved me in a way, like just kept me on a straight and narrow, and just helped me out a lot with my mental health.
I think there's so many people listening right now that can be in that exact position that you were in, and I think naturally it will happen, especially if you're prioritizing your own personal growth and your own journey. But you can always stagnate that. Like, it just comes down to the time that you expose yourself to those environments, right? You don't necessarily need to completely cut those friends off. It's just, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm just going to intentionally just spend like an hour a month with these people, because I know, because I know, because I've had that too. Like, I've had to expose myself less to my Saturday night friends, you know, because I don't want to be fucking on it and bendering every weekend. It was too hard for me to be like, okay, I'll hang out with you on Saturday and not bender. Too hard. Like, you just fall into that pattern, because that's what your body and your mind is used to. You know. So instead, I had to be like, I got to expose myself in intentional time frames for these people. Either I catch up with you for breakfast, or I just will see you maybe once a month. You know what I mean?
See, with these friends, for me, like, I didn't even actually know them sober. So when we were sober, I didn't even know who they were. Like, I remember I hung out with them once when we were all sober, and it was like the quietest time that we've ever had. And I was just
so
like,
trippy.
man, I don't even really know you guys, because we're only friends when we're high or when we're wasted, and that was fact. And I was just like, man, like I don't even really know these guys, man. Like,
wow.
Yeah, but when we were high, and it's like, man, I love you, man. Like you know, you're the best person ever. Like all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it was like it was a buzzy like realization of that. And I was like, man, it was funny. I laugh about it now. I'm like, far out.
That is buzzy, eh? That is such a, because I think a lot of people can relate or can reflect back on like, are these really friends? Like, what is my metrics of success as a friend?
But then, because it's like if shit was going wrong and you needed, you know, a shoulder to cry on, like you wouldn't be able to call those people. Yeah. Like you said, if they're only your sort of bender buddies. They're not really the person you can call on a Wednesday night because, you know, your house has been broken into or something's happened and you're needing help from a friend, or you've just gone through a breakup or something. Like, they wouldn't be your friends that you're calling on.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, crazy.
It's weird how that works, eh?
As you mentioned earlier in the episode, you are going to become a father.
Yeah.
Congratulations, bro. What feelings are arising for you at the moment with that? Is this your first one?
Yeah, first one. Bro, I'm super excited. Like, I'm pretty happy. So due in Feb. It's a big step, I know that, but I think I'm ready. Like kids don't really worry me too much. Like I'm used to raising kids in a way. Being the oldest of 6, I'm used to like changing nappies and looking after kids and all of that. So I think I'm well prepared for it. Yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, sweet.
Awesome. All good. Awesome. And what's the plan moving forward with boxing, bro? Where do you want to go with that?
I want to be champion, eh? I'll be New Zealand champ. Yeah.
You.
So I'll say that here right now. I'll be New Zealand champ.
You.
Yeah, there's no fucking hesitation in that either. Yeah. I love it, bro. I love it.
Well, I wanted to know where Magic Mike came from, the name. Does it come from the movie? Because there's a lot of times the box office post videos with you and it's always got the pony song over it. And so I was like, maybe that's where it's
That's
from.
just Chad being a dick. But it actually does come from the movie. Like, I just had like just friends just calling me Magic Mike. Yeah, and I'm just like, man, I think because Mikey, you know, Magic Mike just has a ring to it. And then it just stuck. Like, everyone just started calling me Magic, and I was like, oh, okay, might as well make it work then. Yeah.
Might as well go with the flow rather than against it.
Okay, all good. Yeah.
Do you have a performing background?
Performing background?
Yeah.
Dance a little bit. But I would.
Yeah, you strike me as someone who is a creative in some sort.
Yeah. But like just for the boys and stuff, I'll dance. It was never like on stage or anything like that.
Yeah.
So never really acted or anything like that. But now I do a little bit of acting now and modelling as well.
So he is a Magic Mike.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was trying to
remember. I mean, musically, I've always loved music, so I taught myself how to play guitar and stuff, and then that kind of like moved on to DJing. So I guess in a way, performing. In that sense.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that you also do a little bit of DJing. You're a man of many trades. You were doing that quite not full time, or was it full time?
Nah, I was doing it like as a little side hustle on the weekends when I was younger. Way back, and it was just like in the club. It was a rubbish club. There was no one there. That's why they had me on. But it was pretty hard to kind of like balance that with like just my normal work life, because I'll be finishing at like 5 in the morning and then go to work next day. Start at like 6 or 7. I'm like, man, I can't do this.
That's crazy. How many hours of sleep would you have?
Maybe 2 hours, 2 hours, and then like, you know, sleep during work time.
Wow.
During my lunch break, I'm like,
well, hey, at least you are sleep trained for a child, bro.
Now I am.
So bro, before we wrap up, we've got 2 questions left. One is, where can people find you to follow your professional boxing journey and for personal training?
So both you can hit me up through Instagram and on Facebook as well. Just type in my name, Mikey Helg, and yeah, you can ask me for personal training, boxing, and if you want to hire me as a DJ.
Yeah. And the last question, bro, if you could take your mind back to the Mikey who was going through that identity crisis, who knew that he had to give up rugby, if he was sitting there right in front of you right now and he was asking the Mikey of today for advice on the journey he is about to go on, what would you tell him?
Keep going, man. Back yourself. If you make a decision, back yourself in it. And no matter what people say, people are always going to have opinions. But you're the person that has to live with that consequence or that decision. So make sure you put your whole heart into everything that you do and just go hard.
Magic. Mikey Helg, everybody.